now I'm like at the peak of my career, and I'm like, oh, well, that's too bad it's over, because I don't care anymore. You know, why are women leaving the workforce? Well, maybe a bunch of them don't care anymore either. Maybe it's not just me. They don't want to be on this hamster wheel of performance and success for the rest of their life, and they start to wonder really what life is all about. I feel better. I can tell that I'm coming out of some kind of terrible morass. I still have of anxiety in my chest, and it feels like a hole. And I thought it was a spiritual hole, but it's not. It's really an anxiety hole. It comes and goes. And it gets so bad sometimes that it's a pain in my chest. Like, it feels painful to me. And I've been trying breathing exercises and, you know, exercising and doing a lot of different things, and nothing seems to be working. So I do notice that's getting worse, and I'm hoping that that is a symptom of menopause transition, maybe, I hope, because it does feel like anxiety to me. And I can always tell when it's going to come on because I can't breathe all of a sudden. It's a very, very strange feeling. So that's kind of one of my biggest symptoms at the moment. I certainly have a few others that are a little bit more personal. If I don't do it, who is going to? So, okay, the other day I saw a video from the Viagra company, and it's a man walking into a room, and he's all sad and depressed, and then a blue pill appears in his hand, and then they cut back to him, you know, later, and he's so happy, he's jumping around, he's a new man. And I was looking at that, and I just got this sense of rage about it, because I thought, oh, I'm really happy for you that you got a happy pill and a long time erection. And who is on the other side of that erection? Is it another man who's taken Viagra? Because that's awesome. I'm glad for you that you've made that choice. Is it your wife who doesn't tell you that it hurts and then bleeds afterwards? Because if you actually were paying attention, that Viagra ad would be really an abomination, because there's no happy pill for women. And we don't really care that it hurts and it tears and you get infections and you know, nobody cares about that. So, you know, if you have a careful partner and a loving partner, they will recognize for you that this is a time that things have changed in your body, and they'll help. And I want that for every woman. I hope that women can speak out about vaginal dryness during menopause, because it doesn't go away on its own. It gets worse and worse and worse, and there's very, very simple things that you can do about it. And I would ask you to talk to your doctor about them. They're so simple. So we used a lube, and that is it's just a water base, and so it's got some good properties to it. It's not a super chemical base, and I think that type is recommended by doctors, and it works fine. It's nothing. It's like, where has this been? Honestly, it's so simple, and it's such not a big deal. So I'm really pleased about that. It's like an $8 fix, you know? It stuns me that people go through pain and they don't even know that they can fix it themselves. And if it gets really bad, then you can have estrogen cream. And estrogen cream you get from your doctor, and it helps to rebuild the walls of your vagina that are getting thinner and thinner as you lose your estrogen. And that's why you get the tears. I don't know, it really bugs me that this is such a simple fix and women aren't told about it, but yet men get an off-label prescribing erection drug. Anyway, don't get me started. I get so mad about this stuff. Another symptom I'd like to talk about that I think is different for me now that I didn't used to have is a lack of confidence. I really feel this devastating lack of confidence, and as I'm talking about it, I feel it in the same place as that anxiety. It just, and maybe sits a bit lower. I just kind of give up. It's so strange. I've always been so driven and so focused and so performance, and it's like I don't care anymore. And I'm not taking it as some sort of, now I feel free because I'm also in menopause. It's like, oh, I actually give up. And I can't be the only one that feels like that. I just feel like my life has just been this, even my privileged life has been such a struggle. My last startup failed because I couldn't get investors involved. Like everything just feels kind of negative and heavy. And I just don't feel like starting anything new. I just kind of lost my gumption. I'm wondering if that will come back. But at this point, I'm like, oh, I can't do that. Someone said, oh, you should join. Can you please join the board? I really want you to be on my board. And I gave them every excuse why I was useless at that. No, not even considering my value that could have been brought to it. So I'm curious about that. That's really taking its toll on me. I've had a few startup failures in the last year because of the current environment. And it's weighing very heavily on me. I feel like I failed a lot. I used to get up at 5 in the morning to make sure my press release was out in Germany. And if it wasn't, it was 3 in the morning in Germany, the press release had to be out. I would get up to make sure it got out onto the market on time. And there's no typo or anything like that. Now, I'd be like, oh, it should be fine. I'll get an email if there's a problem. Just a vast change. And, maybe that's a great thing. I don't have enough space from it yet to understand it, to judge it as such as it is. Maybe I shouldn't judge it. But anyways, it just feels weird. Like, how do I go all of this life and now I'm like at the peak of my career and I'm like, oh, well, that's too bad. It's over because I don't care anymore. Why are women leaving the workforce? Well, maybe a bunch of them don't care anymore either. Maybe it's not just me. They don't want to be on this hamster wheel of performance and success for the rest of their life, and they start to wonder really what life is all about. I'm trying not to descend into cynicism. I think that's a bad place to be. So instead, I'm using my wisdom to stand back and observe it from more of a distance and not try to control it. Because the one thing I have learned from personal experience is that the symptoms change, my body changes, my life changes, and then there'll be something new, right? So that is very helpful to have that wisdom of experience of knowing nothing is forever. I guess the other thing that I would talk about that is another really risky subject is the use of negative coping mechanisms like alcohol and marijuana to cope. I would say that I use too much of both to cope with this feeling. And it's really an unhealthy coping mechanism, but it's like I'm sort of at the end of my rope. So exercise is definitely a great alternative, but it's like half an hour, right? I want relief right now. And so there's always that trade-off, right? Exercise takes a while to kick in. So, if I'm like doing something and I've got to focus and I'm really upset, it takes 2 seconds to go have a quick if it's later in the afternoon, have a small glass of wine or something. I mean, it's not like I'm pounding fistfuls of this stuff, but I'm, clearly using it as a coping mechanism, for sure. A couple of months ago, a friend of mine that I haven't seen for 30 years got a hold of me and she's dying of metastatic breast cancer. And was asking me for some help. And it's really kicked off a process for me that it's strange to watch someone die, especially when you haven't seen them for a long time. And I want her to survive, but I don't even really know her anymore. I don't know how to even serve her. So I'm taking her to hospital appointments. But it's causing me to think deeply about my own death, of course, and how I want to live the rest of my life. And I think it's really hooking into my just overall sense that I want to leave the workforce. Because I'm thinking, well, what do I got? I could have no time left, or I could have, like my grandmother, 103, begging God to take her because she was so done. I don't know. But part of this menopause transition is effectively the death of my ovaries. And, my joints are hurting. Like, I can feel that my body is aging and I will die eventually. So this thinking into the future is thinking about menopause and thinking about my aging process is really accelerating, and thinking about death is really accelerating my need to help people globally, because I only have so much time left.
Thanks for watching this episode. For more menopause stories like this, subscribe below, and don't forget to click the bell so you are notified when we drop a new episode. Did you connect with this story? Let us know by adding your comment and by sharing and liking it. Shared storytelling helps us learn what's happening to our bodies and reminds us we are not alone.